And we are back at Live from the Heartland on this ridiculously gorgeous evidence of climate change day.
Global warming, really?
Yeah, it's a thing. Listen, people, we're all sick at heart with the news that comes to us every day, including this morning. But I found myself just crying out when I heard about the young women and the 4-year-old who were shot in their communities this week. I want to say the names of Canary Gentry Bowers and Takia Holmes. There are GoFundMe pages for both of them to help their families with the burial costs, etc. I'm heartbroken for our city, and it doesn't help to hear the orange one just use it every single time he talks. But I also, it's there to be used. My fellow Chicagoans, please, let's figure this out. Let's not require feds to come in to do it. And going national, we might as well do a few things about this. Oh, I forgot. We're going to also cover that tomorrow there's a volunteer opportunity, a volunteer meet and greet at DuSable Museum from 1 to 3 p.m. It's hosted by My Block, My Hood, My City. Jamal, I forget his last name.
Jamal Hood is the guy who asked for folks to get extra Barack Obama tickets for his last speech here in Chicago so he could send West Side teens to hear, in many cases, their outgoing president for the first time. And he had a pretty phenomenal success in getting a whole bunch of tickets. But he's been doing this introduction of teens to the rest of their neighborhood and city for some time now, and it's just grown. He wants to move beyond West Garfield Park in Austin to go more citywide. So this volunteer fair on the south side is really an effort to help him expand this effort to introduce youth to other youth from other parts of the city they never get a chance to see.
So that's the volunteer meet and greet tomorrow, Sunday at from 1 to 3 p.m. at DuSable Museum, 740 East 56th Place.
We are coming up on a week, even though Congress just started, where they're taking yet another vacation week off, and it's a great opportunity to meet and greet your Congress people. Republican Congress people in particular seem to be getting a little different kind of almost Tea Party-like treatment from constituents who are upset that they're going to dump health care without having another plan in place.
It's called the Resistance Recess from the 18th to the 26th.
Many opportunities to talk directly to your Congress people with town hall forums and extra staff on hand in congressional offices. We ought to be taking advantage to call in, write, and express our opinions on what Congress should be doing.
Yeah, the calling in and writing is really good, but to anybody out there listening, if you haven't physically put your body outside of a governmental office right now, it's really important, whether or not they're supporting what you think or going against it. If they're supporting, you want to say to them, keep on keeping on. You want to say to them, stay the course, fight every fight. If they're Republican, on the other hand, you need to do what Thom just said. Number 45 didn't have the best week.
It depends on what side of the divide you're on.
Well, we're just take it as you see it. Pudzer withdrew. Flynn is out. Russia's got a boat 30 miles off Long Island, which they, I guess, normally do.
Our top executive is about a month into his administration with no apparent national security staff to tell him what's going on in the world.
Well, and
at least none that he trusts.
And the scary thing that I read this week was something that my old good friend Dennis Kucinich statement he made on intelligence community's unprecedented effort to upend the Trump administration, and to me, that's terrifying.
We have talked about this before, where when the current president knocks the intelligence apparatus, we should maybe all be listening, because it's something maybe we can get behind. When I think of, in my lifetime, Bay Pigs, Gulf of Tonkin, Grenada, Gulf War
COINTELPRO,
Gulf War II, I mean, whether it's international or local domestic, we have seen these patterns before, and I would ask Mr. Trump, okay, I agree, what are you gonna do about it? Because ranting against the nasty media for their bad facts is not gonna change the way the intelligence apparatus really is controlling things behind the scene. I have to put it that way because I have to second guess all this Russian stuff and the apparent return to a Cold War, whether it's coming from Trump or the intelligence apparatus, because there is an internal war going on right now that is a little scary if you step behind the headlines.
Yeah, it's just a call really to be vigilant and to pick apart the news that you do hear, because while we are all freaked out about who is occupying the White House, he is still a fellow human being and one who hasn't been in that circle. And he has the potential of exposing to us some of the nastier pieces that we've sort of touched on in our lifetimes, as you just alluded to, Thom. And so we really need to pay attention and become better citizens than ever.
If nothing else, a broken clock is right twice a day, and when he is, we ought to call him on it and support him and see if we can't push it another step or two down the road.
Yeah, and the flip side of that is Congressman Chaffetz, who is a real piece of work. Sorry.
Benghazi investigator, like 7 times.
He needs to hear from you, because if he could call for 7 different investigations of something that had already been investigated and decided upon, he certainly should be investigating the conflicts of interest, which are numerous and egregious on the part of Trump's holdings, his family relations, the nepotism. I mean, and then of course, not that this is his, but the cost of moving these people around, because they really do take every weekend off.
In a Florida resort.
Yeah, that Trump makes money.
On the yacht.
On the yacht, that's right. That's right.
I just want to point out on a happier note that pitchers and catchers returned to spring training this week for both the Sox and the Cubs.
Right on, yes.
Life goes on, and on this spring-like day in Chicago, I figured it was just really important to point out that the boys of spring are at it again, and it's so delightful. We also have, as our regular music producer, a few insights on one of the more glamorous Hollywood activities, or California activities. Lynn Weiss, you were at the Grammys this week, and besides
Again?
one of your favorite performers picking up a little trophy, what was that all like?
Well, after 374 recordings, the 83-year-old Bobby Rush walked away with the gold. And it was the most exciting moment, tearful moment, just a happy moment for me.
Yeah.
To actually, I've been there 4 times, so this is his 4th nomination. And what was really significant is that there was the category, the traditional blues category. This is, for our listeners who don't know, Bobby is a long-time blues performer, probably one of the last of the great blues performer with Buddy Guy. He started on the Chitlin circuit. He's from Homer, Louisiana, moved to Chicago and was a resident here for 45 years, and now a resident of Jackson, Mississippi. And so to see him be acknowledged finally while he's here, as Buddy Guy said, Buddy won it last year, and so he said, give me my roses while I can smell them.
Aw, so sweet.
That's what he said. So, that was really remarkable.
So we know why you were there, but what was the moment you didn't expect? That you stumbled across or ended up in an odd group? And
moments. I did 2 interviews, one in Paraguay and one with a Japanese reporter. Those were really interesting about about music and about the blues and about Chicago music, and using really, we were just talking about with the filmmaker, confronting silence, and musicians are all about that. And so, if you watch the Grammys, for me, it's not about the show. It's about the message and the music. As Pop Staples once said, you can't have a movement without the music. So that's really what it was. There's, so many opportunities for music, such as with Nicholas Barron, to be able to perform, and it becomes a part of our social fiber, the landscape of our life. And so that's a lot that I guess Nicholas will also address too. That there were just some special, really incredible special moments there.
so what was this whole thing about Beyonce and Adele?
Well, I think that Adele was very humble. You know, I mean, she walked away with the award, and she was humble, and she was very graceful to Beyonce, who has been one of her incredible mentors. You know, it's great, it's great. I do want to say that I was very excited for Chance the Rapper. Okay, I mean, he really made a significant difference. He won New Entertainer of the Year, and walked away with a couple of other awards, and I really salute him for what he has proven.
Lenormand Weiss, you high styling girl. Thanks for representing us out there on the West Coast.
I want to say really quickly, the thing that I'm most excited about is next Sunday, February 26th.
Okay, we were